Well guys, today we are visiting San Antonio de Areco.
Yeah, this is known as the Gaucho capital of Buenos Aires province.
Indeed, so we're gonna take you around and show you all the fun things that you can do in this charming little town. Welcome to San Antonio de Areco. Today we are visiting a town known as the cradle of Gaucho culture, conveniently located just 2 hours outside of Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is a perfect day trip or weekend escape from the big city, and in this video we're going to show you exactly what you can get up to. So get ready for estancias, old-fashioned restaurants, museums showcasing Gaucho culture, friendly cats and dogs, and so much more. The following is our travel guide to San Antonio de Areco. First things first, let's talk about where we stayed. Part of the experience when you visit San Antonio de Areco is getting to stay at an estancia. These are typically former or current working ranches that also welcome tourists. While the bigger estancias are located on the outskirts of town, we chose to stay at La Cinacina, which was only 8 blocks from the main square. It was rustic yet relaxing, but we'll show you more later. We were hungry, so it was time for a first meal in town. A short walk later, we ended up at El Mitre, a historic bar located across from the main square. I am so happy. If there is one thing I was craving, it is steak. So I ordered the bife de chorizo. I asked for it juicy. I like it pink and
Show us. I'm zooming in.
Zooming in.
Oh my gosh.
Look at that piece. Let me turn around the plate so you can visualize the juiciness.
That nice thick steak.
Yes, I haven't had steak in so long. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've been in Argentina a while.
And your favorite cut, the bife de chorizo. Can't go wrong.
It's so tender. It comes with some potatoes and also a salad. I'm gonna drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top. Oh, this is just what I wanted, like something simple. A little bit of salad, a little bit of meat. Happy lady.
Happy lady.
Lady.
Don't even need any chimichurri for that.
No chimichurri. There is
good.
no chimichurri.
There's none.
Where's my chimichurri?
Where's the chimi?
That didn't arrive.
No chimney. As for me, friends, I'm going for kind of a classic bodegon style of meal. It honestly fits this rustic charm restaurant. I love this place. Look at that with the high ceilings. Just a perfect place to be having a Milanesa Napolitana. So what that is, I'll show you. Tomato sauce underneath, and then you've got ham, and you've got melted cheese on top of it's sort of like a schnitzel. Yeah, it's an Argentine schnitzel. And it's one of the most classic things you can have in Argentina. I've been craving it for a while, just like you've been craving your bife de chorizo. Take a look at that. Nice little bite.
This is one of Sam's favorite meals. Like, he orders this a lot.
It's a go-to for me. Oh, delicious. So it's almost like having pizza toppings on top of the Milanesa. That's the way I would describe it. And it came with a plate of fries too. Very tasty. Great introduction to this town that we're visiting. To hit up a nice restaurant like this, right in the heart of the center. We're going to enjoy. Bon appetit, everyone.
After lunch, we enjoyed a stroll through Plaza Ruiz de Arellano, the central square in San Antonio de Areco. This is a beautiful tree-lined plaza with lots of benches to sit down and rest. We also visited San Antonio de Padua, a church that sits across from the main square, and that's about all we managed on our first afternoon there because we simply couldn't handle the heat and humidity. It's a good afternoon to be a doggo here in San Antonio de Areco, isn't it? You like? You like the evening air? I do! Oh, so it finally cooled down. We went back to the estancia, had a little nap.
Yes.
And now, an evening stroll.
That was essential because the thing that we're not telling you guys is we took an overnight bus from where we're staying in Argentina in Cordoba province.
Yeah, it was a long journey to get here.
Yeah, and then we arrived here. We had a little breakfast in the morning, and then we also had to take another 3-hour bus to get here. And then the other thing that wiped us out was the heat. It's at least 3 times hotter out here. than it is in Cordoba in the mountains. So.
It's almost 30 degrees here in the daytime.
And like we were experiencing highs of like single digits for like weeks on end. So it just like, it just wiped us out. After the meal, we were gonna do all this stuff. And we're like, no, we need a little siesta. But now we're energized. We're visiting this beautiful park. It's right in the center of town. And we're walking around to hopefully build up an appetite for dinner. Lit up. No? We visited earlier, but it looks a little bit more interesting now.
Shall we follow the ding dong and go in?
Yeah, maybe.
For dinner, we ended up at Balthazar, another very cool restaurant that felt a bit like a museum. The walls were covered in all sorts of antiques and collector's items. The menu was limited, but we enjoyed our food and the overall ambiance. Sam was craving a picada, and this right here, guys, is a picada. It's basically a platter loaded with deli meats, cheeses, olives, dried fruits.
Yeah, I mean, what's not on here? I mean, to give you a tour, it's gourmet too. Gourmet cheeses, different kinds of dried fruit, tomatoes even. We got slices of salami. Looks like mortadella, nuts, raisins. Audrey wanted an empanada to go with.
Beef empanada.
So we're well set. I've got my cup of red wine, the copa de vino tinto of the house. So I think we're well equipped for this is our dinner.
These are tasty, nicely seasoned, freshly baked, real good. Well, good morning. It is a fine morning, a little overcast, and we're gonna go have breakfast here in this beautiful, lovely construction. It feels very early, but it's already 8:30. No one else seems to be awake. I think we're the first ones here for breakfast. So let's go see what is served. Breakfast at Estancia La Cinacina was nothing short of wonderful. It was buffet style with a huge spread of fresh fruits, yogurts, and cereals. Plus, we got 2 baskets with freshly baked goods. One was all medialunas, and the other basket featured an assortment of breads. However, the highlight was this charming Estancia cat. He was sleeping on one of the chairs, and I'll admit, we woke him up from his slumber, but it wasn't long before Kitty had joined us on our laps for a bite of breakfast.
He jumped up. How sweet. Look at it. Oh, look at you. Oh, you smell some good stuff.
Well, that was a lovely breakfast.
Yeah, it sure was. I love the variety and the fruit. That was an unexpected surprise. But the thing that was really cool is that, you know, in Argentina, a typical Argentine breakfast might be criollitos, those nice little biscuits that you can cut in half, and also the media luna. But for us, it's considered a special breakfast because the only time we really have it is when we're traveling. So it just tasted so nice to put on the different spreads. I had dulce de leche for the first time on this trip in Argentina, which is very unusual. Normally I have a lot more. So it's just a really, really nice breakfast. And
tell us about the surprise guest.
Oh gosh, we had that sweet cat, and you could tell it's familiar with eating scraps because it hopped up on our lap like, you know, hey, I do this every day. We fed it little crumbs of criollitos. Yeah, it loved it. And I love when there's friendly animals at places you stay. It just makes it feel more like homey and comfortable.
Yeah, I've never met a cat who eats bread like that. So
yeah, that was something else. Hey, you gotta hand it to the cat. It's like it's adapted to its environment, right?
Yeah. Alrighty, so we just finished having breakfast. That was delicious. Honestly, like Sam was saying, the highlight was that cat. Like, that just made my day. As you can probably hear from all the ruckus as well, the parrots are waking up. There are these little green parrots that we also have where we live in the Sierras. They're little chatterboxes. They're very, very vocal this time of day. And the plan right now is just to explore the estancia because we arrived yesterday afternoon and we honestly didn't really explore very much. We didn't get to see a whole lot. So right now we've stumbled upon this like old garage with vintage vehicles. So yeah, we're just kind of wandering around, seeing what we come across, enjoying. They also offer horseback rides. You can get massages. They have a pool, but it's closed now because it's autumn. So yeah, we're gonna see what this place is all about. And the mosquitoes are out. That's the only downside. Check that out. Some lovely vintage vehicles here. How nice are those? They've got license plates, so it makes me wonder, are these still drivable? Can they actually hit the road? Are they roadworthy?
So something I've really enjoyed about being here for more than just a day trip is that we've had a chance to explore the outskirts of the town, and it is such a charming place. Like, you can't believe how many green spaces there are. Parks where you see people jogging, like endless soccer fields, football fields, I should say.
Yes.
I saw at least 4 or 5 of those. We're coming up on one of the main attractions here, the bridge just over my shoulder.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm just loving like getting a chance to see like kind of a local slice of the town. Aside from just the town center where all the tourists tend to gather, this has been really nice surprise.
Also, a little fun fact that has surprised me. There are so many people riding their horses through town. Like, you would think in today's day and age, it would just be, you know, vehicles. But here in this town, in the Gaucho capital, people ride their horses. And you see it in the downtown, you see it in the back streets. It's pretty cool that people just get around on horseback. I like it. The mosquitoes, it's on my face.
The mosquitoes really like
the
biggest problem right now is I'm getting eaten alive.
You've got like 4.
I know.
On your ankles.
It's just been all day long. I made
gosh.
an enormous mistake not to wear long pants and long shirt, but my own fault.
We just want to see the old bridge, and then I think we're gonna run away from the park because
we're gonna hightail it away from water.
Yeah, the water. The mosquitoes like the water, so this isn't ideal. Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and this year dengue has been a problem here in Buenos Aires because there just have been so many mosquitoes. It's been so hot, so humid, so in and out of here. Oh man,
Really fast.
Sam literally has like a cloud of black mosquitoes following him. He's got blood, mosquito blood all over his legs. So yeah, don't come here in the summer is what we're getting at. I don't know if the mosquitoes are bad every summer or if this was a particularly tough year. However, it was so bad that bug spray was selling out at all the pharmacies and markets in town. To give you some context, we visited in mid-April, which was already early autumn. However, it was worse along the river. We actually managed just fine in town. So we are now visiting the main square here. It is called Ruiz de Arellano. There are actually several plazas or squares in this town, but I would say this is the main one, the most lively. It's got all the action happening because of the businesses around it. Like, this is where you have the church, it's where you'll find a couple of museums, lots of the historic restaurants as well, and souvenir shops where you can buy traditional handicrafts and like gaucho style clothing, that sort of thing. So it's very nice, very green, lots of palm trees. Also, lots of dogs. I don't really want to call them stray dogs because I feel like they're the townspeople's dogs, like they look after them communally. Yesterday we saw different businesses feeding the dogs here in the park, so that was really sweet to see. And yeah, the dogs are just super friendly and they come up to you, they want to meet all the tourists basically. So yeah, just enjoying a really nice stroll in a beautiful park. Another thing that San Antonio de Areco is known for is its silversmithing tradition. The best place to learn about this art is at the Draghi Silversmithing Workshop and Museum. Okay, so we just finished visiting a very cool spot. It's the Draghi family's museum and workshop. This is a family of silversmiths,
Yes.
the best in the whole country. And the type of silverware they make, it's specifically for gauchos and for horses. So like really ornate belts and horse jewelry.
Unbelievable. Entirely handcrafted.
Yes.
And the story was fascinating. The father was self-taught.
Yes, he was.
And the son is continuing on the business. Apparently, he's learned when he was 9 years old, and he's had a chance to study in different parts of the world. And he's so passionate about it that he's there every day. We got to see him, and it's kind of like a museum, but like it's also like a workshop.
Yeah.
So it's one of the more fascinating museums and workshops I've actually ever been to. I am not the biggest museum person, but that place was absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, it is very cool. And like they also have a shop where you can buy things like gaucho knives and jewelry. Like there's a lot to look at. So it's a really, really cool spot. And we had a great time. Wasn't planning on buying any silver, didn't actually buy anything, but loved checking out the museum and seeing the guy at work.
Yeah,
so
you could tell it's his passion, it's his vocation. It's not a job. And the fact that he's there every day, that's just amazing. And he was there on a Sunday.
On a Sunday morning, guys.
You gotta love that. You gotta love that dedication to craft.
That's committed.
I'm very, very impressed by that.
Then we visited another museum that was just a few blocks north. This place is called Usina Vieja, and it is set in a former electric power plant. This museum takes you back in time and shares the history of the town through antique displays and art. Plus, out back they have a courtyard featuring carved wooden sculptures with a strong focus on gaucho culture and the rural way of life in the Pampas. Next, it was time for lunch. We ate at a place called Almacén Ramos Generales, another historic restaurant here in town. And cheers to you.
Cheers, salud. This is the house wine. And have two options. You get them. It's called the media jara, which is a half jar, 500 milliliters, or you get the jara, which is 1 liter. And I'm the only one having wine today, so I didn't need a liter of wine.
Media jara is plenty. 500 ml for the big boy.
That is plenty. The jar of the house is just such a great option.
Yeah.
It's economical and it's also really good. Like this wine is quite smooth. In Spanish we call it suave for house wine. Normally something can be a little bit aggressive, but this is like very smooth. It's very good.
And I'm gonna try and rehydrate. It is so hot and humid. I got some fizzy water. Lunch is served. There was only one thing I was interested in having, and that is a corn shepherd's pie. So basically, picture your mash switched over for mushy corn, ground beef.
I think I got a little steam in that shot.
The nice thing about this dish is that it is super sweet. So it almost feels like a dessert. Maybe that's why I like it so much. But yeah, really happy with my meal. Sam went for the ribs. Check that out. That's a massive portion right there.
Caramelized.
With applesauce, I think they said, apple puree.
Yep.
So again, another very sweet meal. I think that's the theme for today. Sweet lunches. So.
Yeah, sweet and hearty.
The following day, we continued our exploration of the town of San Antonio de Areco, and our first stop was a chocolate shop called La Olla de Cobre. That translates to the copper pot. You can buy chocolate by the weight here, and they have all sorts of interesting flavors like coconut, almonds, figs, and rum-soaked raisins. We didn't film it, but we devoured our little box of chocolates back at the Estancia later that night.
Either I've shrunk or this is a really tall bench.
Oh my!
You get to decide which of the two.
Which is likeliest?
Which is the most likely? Friends, another day, another plaza. This one here is called Plaza Gómez. A bit more of a local place, a few blocks away from the city center. And I'm celebrating a very special holiday today. It's Happy There's No More Mosquitoes Day. It's unofficial, but we got a big storm, a thunderstorm last night, and it seems to have like wiped them all out. So I'm walking around today, no new bites, so I couldn't be happier. And it's kind of neat to be wandering around and getting a little bit further away from the center, a bit more of a local feel. And yeah, we're just gonna go check this place out. No expectations, just a walk around.
So yeah, today the weather is much cooler. It's so pleasant for walking around. I've got my windbreaker on because it is a windy day, threatening of rain. But yeah, we're kind of exploring more off the beaten path today, a bit further away from the main touristy attractions in this town. It's also a Monday, so that means that fewer places are open. So we're just gonna see what we find, hopefully go out for a very tasty meal later, and just enjoy. For lunch, we made our way to another centrally located restaurant that overlooks the main square. This one is called El Tokio. You might be thinking, oh, Japanese food. Well, not quite. This restaurant specializes in simple Argentine fare, but with very large filling portions. And they're also very well known for their ice cream shop. Simple meal today, guys, but I'm thrilled for it. I got some chicken cooked on the plancha. What would we call the plancha in English?
The grill.
A grill?
Yeah, cooked on the grill.
Alrighty. With some not sweet potato, some pumpkin puree.
I know the pumpkin puree is like so generous. Such a generous portion. I'm gonna try some.
So sweet.
Is it good?
For the chicken, I just squeezed lemon.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Sometimes that's all you need.
I feel like a lot of our foods have been like dessert lately with the sweet pork and the apple puree. What else did we have yesterday? The sweet corn.
That's right. We've ate really well in this town.
We have.
The food has been fantastic, a real highlight.
I'd say that's been my favorite activity, just eating. Yeah. Eating all day.
And we're here on a Monday. This place was packed on the weekend. It's quiet today. Look at that.
Very quiet.
Very quiet. So we're enjoying chill vibes. This is definitely a weekend destination. So if you want to have a bit of a quieter experience, come on a weekday. Friends, we're having homemade pasta over here. Gnocchis. Potato
gnocchi, by the way.
There's a funny expression in Argentina. Gnocchis are called people that don't do work. They kind of just take a position.
And come to collect their paycheck on the 29th of the month.
Yeah, it's a really funny expression.
You eat gnocchi on the 29th, typically.
Yeah, but it's actually a really delicious pasta that's known in Argentina. So what's cool here in Argentina is that when you select your pasta, you have a wide variety of sauces that you can choose from. I went for the bolognese, which is a meat sauce, meat and tomato based sauce. And then it came with cheese that I sprinkled all over.
Yes, you did.
Dumped the whole thing in there. So this is my first bite. Excited to try this. Try to get a bit of the sauce, try to get a bit of the cheese.
Those are super plump gnocchis.
Oh, delicious. Melt in your mouth, gnocchis. You don't even have to chew them. That's how soft they are.
They slide down.
They just like disintegrate in your mouth. Really nice sauce. This is a nice hearty meal. It's a little cooler today, so I feel like this is more appropriate based on the weather that we're having at the moment.
Nice.
But yeah, really, really good food. Also got a little cup of wine, copo de vino tinto.
That was a full glass of wine, by the way.
It's filled right to the brim. Gotta love that. It's nothing worse than a stingy portion. You know, that really bothers me. So when they came like right up to the rim, I was like, that is amazing.
I want to mention another activity that was the highlight of our visit to San Antonio de Areco, and that is visiting an estancia for a Dia de Campo or countryside day. That's right. Aside from spending 3 nights at an estancia, we also booked a day trip to one of the most famous estancias in the area, El Ombú de Areco. That day trip will be its own video in and of itself. However, here's a little taste of what's to come. We are having a GAUCHO day or a country day here at an estancia.
They're raising Black Angus over here.
They are.
Take a look.
Ta-da!
Acá tenemos pollo, cerdo, esto es todo lo que es lomo y vacío, todo vacío.
It's gonna be a mixed grill. We got to see it being prepared.
For now, we hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, we invite you to give it a like, subscribe, and we'll be seeing you shortly with more adventures. Ta-ta!